All right, today we are talking about rewiring your mind, the power of repetition, and why we're actually affirming. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Hey everyone, my name is Kim Velez. I am a trauma therapist turned life coach, and I literally have overcome my own shitty self-concept and love, and this has been my mission to help so many thousands of you so far, and I'm excited to say that one day it'll be hundreds of thousands of you and then millions of you to up-level your mindset, create a new belief system so you're not waiting for the shoe to drop in love, so you never feel insecure or not good enough again, and you actually manifest not only the dope-ass dream version of you, but the dream version of your life. Everything about it, relationships, money, career, your body, health, everything. We're doing it all on this channel. So if that sounds good to you, then definitely share, like, and subscribe. Okay, so let's talk about this because this has been what I know works for me and what I've taught, like I said, thousands of you. And it works for you too because the feedback I get every single day off multiple platforms shows me all the time that this shit works. So when you're stuck thinking something, whether it's good, a good thought or a bad thought, I don't even like using the words good and bad because it's really just, they're just thoughts, right? They're all neutral until we attach a meaning and a belief behind it, which either feel good to us or feel bad to us, okay? And therefore manifest in experiences or something happening where it is either to our liking or not so much. So when you feel like you're, constantly on this repetition, on this loop, it's not that you're really, a lot of people call it overthinking, but it's really not overthinking. Like what you're really doing is that is literally you rewiring your mind. You're literally firing and wiring neurons together, and you're either reinforcing ones that have already been fused, or you are creating a new neural pathway and lighting up and wiring these making new connections and associations with different thoughts, new thought patterns. And that changes your brain chemistry. It changes, things in your brain, and you do it until the neural pathways continue to strengthen. That's what the power of repetition is. That's how you convince yourself of something. We take a new belief, or a new thought, I should say, we don't believe it, but it's one we're programming our mind to eventually believe and know, so we don't have to consciously sit here and manually enter this thought and say it, like a manual insertion of it. We want it to automatically just be, oh yeah, that's what an assumption is. An assumption is when you automatically know something, whether you have evidence of it or not, you just know something. That's how you don't let 3D circumstances sway you. So what we're doing is neuroscience, baby. We are rewiring the mind and lighting up a whole new neural pathway in order to rewire your mind to know a new story, to create a new belief system, and that's the power of repetition. That's why we're affirming. We're not affirming to make something be different outside of us and to make someone show up different. You're affirming until you believe and know something different about you and something different about what you get to have. And you're doing it until you know this, and therefore when you know it, it's programmed in your mind and it's part of you. It's part of your internal belief system structure in you, the framework in your mindset. So every time you're repeating your affirmations and you're repeating your self-concept affirmations, you're repeating your new story of you, remember, we're not believing it, right? I talked about that. That's why you feel the resistance. That's why when you start affirming the new story, you still feel like it's untrue. You still feel like, the old you or the old you stuck in that old reality. Well, it's because you don't believe the new story yet. You still believe in the old story of you. It's programmed in you, which is producing the feelings, and it's already wired together this neural pathway that you are associating and attaching meanings and perspectives and attitudes and, belief systems, and all these things are embedded into that framework, that identity you've created for yourself. I'm not good enough, I'm broke, life is hard, I'm not worthy of the love I want. And then just the negative story and associations you've attached to the people in regards to you in that area of your life, and in regards to that area of your life, meaning your story of love. Is it hard? What are the associations and meanings? It's hard to find a good person. whatever, right? We all have negative stories. I don't want to like say them 100 times in this video and have this video be like all these negative stories, but you get the point, right? Whatever the negative associations are and meanings is what your brain is like recalling. It knows this. So we're embedding a new program, right? You're embedding a new framework. You're literally developing a new infrastructure in your mind that says, no, when I think of me in love now, or myself in love, when I think of my story of love, when I think of how the people romantically show up for me, when I think of my future in love, of what I'm going to be experiencing, when I think of money, when all these things, right? Then we're changing the new story. So you're wiring and connecting new neurons together to associate a whole new identity of you with this area of your life, of you in love, of you with money, of you with whatever. And the more you do that thought, those thoughts that you're focusing on, the new affirmations, it's making it easier for your mind to pop it up, to recall it, to know this, to access it, to find it quickly. And then the more you do that through the power of repetition, when you're embedding it more and more, you will naturally start to think these things on your own without having to pause and then consciously select the thought and then think the thought to yourself. Does that make sense? If it does, comment below and say, yes, I'm getting this. You explained it. I got it, boo. We understand, right? Because this stuff really needs to be simplified because so many people overcomplicate it. And when we overcomplicate things, it's basically we don't understand it ourselves. And so we're just parroting back what's been told to us because they don't do it. If you internalize something and you really understand the process, then it's easy and understandable to break it down and make it simplified to explain to others. So all of this works in our favor and not in our favor. So we already know if we have a negative self-concept, if we have negative stories, how easy it is in the beginning, especially when you're learning law of assumption and how to reprogram your mind and change your thinking, how it feels like you're stuck more in the old man, like Neville says, in the old version of you, in the old self-concept, and really like stuck deep in the old self-concept, right? And so every time you're there, every time, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, you're dwelling in that self-concept, in that old story that you no longer desire, you're just reinforcing those neurons to stay wired together, to keep associating your story of you, your story of love, your story of money with negative associations and negative meanings and creating more circumstances you don't want. So this is not a video for you to be scared of your thoughts because so many of you start to get scared that, oh my God, I don't want to manifest this. Well, no, of course we don't want to manifest negative things. But one of the things you have to understand is that not all thoughts manifest. Thank God. That's why we have time delay. That's why not every thought that pops in our head is always 100% manifesting. So take a deep fucking breath and then remind yourself that, you know what? It's okay that, yeah, I don't want this, but I'm reprogramming my mind. And one day the 3D reality will catch up, right? Like no matter what I manifest, it's never fucking permanent. That as long as I'm alive and breathing, I can keep creating a reality that is more that I desire. And at some point, it has to reflect back to your new story. So we don't want to keep reinforcing the old story. We don't want to keep reinforcing in our mind by thinking and listening to things that promote and support our old belief systems because it's just solidifying it more and we're moving out into creating the new story that we don't believe yet and we're reaffirming it until we know it different, until we start to believe it. And it's not about trying to believe it so that you make it manifest in your reality because we already have proven, I know I have many times, I don't got to believe what I want and I can still manifest it in, but it doesn't stick. And so we want to program our mind to know a different truth about us and know a different truth about what we actually get to have. So it's on autopilot so that we've set up the neural pathway that has the new meanings, the new associations, the new beliefs, the new thought patterns mentally and emotionally. We've cultivated and practiced it and rehearsed it over and over in our mind until it's stuck, where we no longer have to think of it to make it happen. It just is, and it's always being reflected back in our reality. It's the same thing when you learn to tie a shoe or first time you learn to drive a car, right? The first times we're doing this, we're not aware of it. Our body and mind hasn't rehearsed it enough until we know what to do automatically. So we have to stop and think, Oh, let me do this with the car. Oh, put my seatbelt. Oh, turn my head, look at the camera, right? Move my foot this way. Like we're consciously thinking of every step we're doing until we've done it so many times and have thought it over so many times through repetition, and then it's programmed in us, and now we can get in the fucking car and, drive over here and there and be in la la land manifesting what we want. And like, how the fuck did I even get over here? I don't remember driving, right? It's so automatic. You've thought the thoughts so much and you've done the behaviors because the body follows the mind. You've told the body what to do in driving that it knows what to do automatically. It's programmed in you, so it does it on its own. Same thing with tying a shoe. We first learned how to tie a shoe. We had to stop and think, what am I doing with the laces? How am I, wrapping them? Is it this way, that way, bunny ears, through the loop, whatever way you learned? You just couldn't sit there and do it without thinking, right? You had to think of every step and then train your fingers and hands moved after you thought which way to move it. And then the more we did it through repetition, we reprogrammed the mind where you just know, oh, I'm putting my shoes on, right? You could be talking to someone, listening to someone, not even looking at your shoe and tie it automatically because you've trained your brain to do this task. You've told it multiple times through repetition what to do, and you train your body in the same steps with the thoughts of what to do that you've programmed yourself to do because we've done it so much. It's the same thing with any new skill set we learn, foreign language we learn, anything. This is repetition is how you get programmed. So you're hypnotizing yourself through repetition to believe and know new stories about you, your love life, your money life, whatever, your reality that you want. And so you want to keep rewiring your mind until it's wired in that this is who the fuck you are and this is what the fuck you get to have. All right. If you want to join me in my weekly coaching group where you get access to replays, I have a texting app community in there where you all support each other, no negative stories or negative circumstances. And you get to show up with me every week, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern time to get coached. Link is below. I would love to see you. Bye.